start. You gotta say it.
I thought he was going to cue me in. Live from the Asbury Park Music Foundation and presented by Mogo, it's One More with Brian Erickson.
Yay!
Ready?
Welcome to One More with Brian Erickson. I am neither of those. Brian Erickson is unable to attend this week. His plane was.
Brian nor Erickson.
I'm neither Brian nor Erickson. His plane was shot down over the Sea of
Which
Japan.
one-
It's
this is
spun
Brian,
in.
which one is
There were no
Erickson?
survivors. I'm Christy Brow. Each week we bring in two guests. We sit them down. We ask them why they do what they do. And this week is no exception. We have Mint 400 recording artist Rosey Bengal, and from Sailor Boyfriend, who just released their album last week, we have Andy. But first, and as always, when she feels like showing up on time, Jessie McCormick. Jessie, how are you?
I showed up so early
You were
today.
super duper early
I was,
today.
because I felt bad about being late last
It's okay.
week.
We forgive you because you have seceded that I am the cute one, and therefore we're not going
That
to
is-
roast you.
Oh,
for being
wow.
Late
Oh, we can fight
on
about that
camera.
later.
Oh, we're going to fight about it on camera.
Oh, are we?
later.
Yeah, okay.
I asked Jeff and Fern when they were subbing last week, but I
yeah.
realized it was a disaster. I'll ask you, what are your rainy day albums? 'Cause
My rainy day
It's been
albums?
rainy days. What are you listening to?
I've been listening to The Greeting Committee a lot, actually.
Okay. Is that like rainy day or just what you've been listening to?
It's kind of just what I've been listening to. Today, actually, since it was a rainy day, I was listening to a lot of Low Light.
Is
in
Low
the
Light your
cafe.
rainy day album?
Yeah, Low
That's
Light
actually
and
pretty good.
Low Light and Accidental Seabirds.
Yeah, the
the
Seabirds.
first
The
Seabirds
Seaboys.
album. Oh my
They're the
god.
best. I saw Jesse on Saturday. I got to hang out with him.
He's playing with us with Puppy Grease as our drummer on Friday.
Is he drumming with Puppy Grease?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I wish I could come to that. I think
Yeah,
it could
because
be.
Clint of Godlings fame, who's normally our drummer, is going to be at Afterfly.
Okay, I feel
yeah.
that. Is Afterfly, what is that?
It's like a music festival in Dover.
I'm very proud of the fact that I don't know anything about any music festival. So yeah, the thing about rainy day albums and as
Yeah,
things
what
like,
was your rainy day album?
it's Postal Service is number one,
nice,
and like
yeah.
any Mountain Goats album is.
That's
great for
like
rainy
your
day.
everyday album.
Well, no, because like there's
Or
like
do you have certain ones?
yeah, I mean
yeah.
Get Lonely is the rainy day album,
Okay, yeah.
but yeah,
I
so
got my Frank Turner albums for different moods,
yeah,
so
you know,
it's fine.
there's different Frank Turners for different moods, and all of
Absolutely.
them play very loud acoustic guitar.
Oh yes.
We're not here to talk about
loud acoustic guitar.
loud acoustic guitars because every band this week is a little more electronica based.
I love
We're
that.
here to talk about Mogo Korean Fusion Taco. One More with Brian Erickson is brought to you by the savory goodness of Mogo Korean Fusion Tacos. Featuring fresh homemade ingredients, family recipes, and a variety of menu options, Mogo is bringing traditional Korean flavors to the masses. For the past 3 years, Mogo has also been a leading sponsor of Asbury Park Live, a free weekly summer concert series run in conjunction with the Asbury Park Music Foundation. This event series not only showcases emerging and established Asbury Park acts, but also raises money for youth music education, including the launch of a new Latin music summer camp last year. Jesse and I will be attending again this year. So visit either of their two locations, Cookman Avenue or the Asbury Park Boardwalk, for casual sit-down dining or takeout. The prices are always fair and the food is always fantastic. Mogo Korean Fusion Tacos. Sometimes when I feel sad, I place an order and I eat my emotions. That was a bad one.
That was one meant for me.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that was meant for either of us. We're both stress eaters. His band Sailor Boyfriend's latest album came out last week. Shapes and Colors. Please welcome Andy. Come on out, Andy.
Mogo!
Mogo! Mogo! Mogo! Hell yeah!
Welcome to the show,
Thank
Andy.
you so much for coming out, Andy. I saw you run over when I started doing the intro. I was like, what is he gonna do? You did it, man. You did the bit. You
I
did it
just wanted to make
fantastic.
sure my shirt was unbuttoned. Hi, everybody.
Hey, it's so good to have you on, Andy. Thank you for you jumped in last minute. I put out the call today, and a lot of people who should not be allowed in front of microphones offered, and Andy was one of them, and I accepted his offer.
Any chance to talk about myself?
Listen, man, that's why I do this show every week, is that I let other people pretend to talk, and then I think about myself, and then I say things about myself. I'm actually really excited to get you on, because I've known Sailor Boyfriend for probably about half a year now. I've known you and Alex for a while, mostly via Twitter. I remember I saw you guys at The Saint.
Yes.
That was the first time I saw you guys.
Yes.
And I really dug it. I went back and I listened to that first album. This is when they were still the first album. And then I saw you guys again at the brewery a couple of months later. I remember saying to you flat, I was like, I really love it. I love what you guys are doing, but I think there's something I'm just there's like a fundamental thing I'm not getting about your band. Do you remember what you said to me?
Oh goodness.
What you said to
I
me.
don't know that you had to be cool to.
That's good. No, you said to me, and this is something it really kind of made me adjust it. You said it's 100% genuine.
Yes.
So there's a thing about Sailor Boyfriend. Just to explain, if you haven't seen Sailor Boyfriend, it's a two-piece. Andy wears all white and mostly sings and plays a little bit of guitar, and Alex wears all black and plays guitar. And there's like tracks going, and there's some choreographed dancing, and it's weird, kind of almost dance poppy, for lack of a better genre term.
I'm fine with that.
But there's a certain sadness to it that's going on. There's
I was
a certain
gonna say
darkness.
it's a little rougher than dance pop.
Yeah.
I would say it's really
More,
fun.
more so like the tracks, and I feel like the style you're coming from
sure.
comes from there. So let's talk about the genuineness. With that, like,
sure. Authenticity is something is like a big indie rock conversation, and I wanted to have fun with it for a musical project, and something that Alex and I talked about is sort of, like being in a DIY scene, calling ourselves part of that, or maybe not part of that, or well, we are, because we do everything ourselves. But I think something that we really want to define ourselves against any other bands that look like us, two white men, is that we wanted the show to be fun and genuine. I mean, we do bits, and like we have songs that are satires about startup culture, but like it's all coming from like a real push to engage and make sure everyone is present in the whether it's the audience or us ourselves.
I mean, yeah, there's a sense in, like, I think that there is certainly a trap to have that ironic removal.
Yeah.
To like be like, well, this is going on, but we're aware of it. But I feel like you guys kind of forward face and like, this is what we are, this is what we're doing, this is what we sound like.
Can I get Brechtian?
Oh, please.
Awesome.
Always get Brecht.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk
Fantastic.
Bertolt Brecht.
Yeah, fantastic.
Brecht.
So 2 theater majors are running this right now.
Port of Amsterdam.
Amazing. I was just wondering, because I've never seen you live. I've only heard your recorded stuff.
Okay.
So is it more of a Brechtian thing where you're trying to keep that critical distance, or do you really want to like immerse people in your crowd, like make them kind of like forget?
How much do you
what
think in
they're-
Brechtian terms when you are performing?
Answer.
I'm going
whichever
to
one
answer
is.
her question.
Thank you.
Is it, do we want them to be removed, or do we want them to be involved? Or something like that. I think there's a level of self-seriousness that can have a pitfall in sort of capital I, capital R indie rock performance. For every band that I love, I go to a show of theirs, it just kind of feels like I'm back in my bedroom listening to them on my headphones, which is totally fine. But I think St. Vincent said something like, people go to a show because, we want to sort of like tell our stories and like travel out of this world together. And then when we come back, be something a little bit different, but we are all there together. So that's something that I sort of thought about when putting together a live show, putting together visuals, putting together the album as well, having something that's engaging, something that talks about heavy things, but not in a teaching way, not in the like, I'm actually a white woke ally, and you should know that racism is bad. It's more like everything is absurd, and you don't need another person telling you that. You need another sort of affirmation. You need someone to, or at least for me, living like, graduating college and entering a world of the rest of my life. It was sort of, I wanted sort of life preserver, not to make it a sailor pun, but I wanted sort of like something to grab onto. And I did that through music, through reading, through my friends. And I want this record to be something like that as well.
Nice.
If I remember when you posted the album, there was a tag that you were using, which was an album about it was like album about dealing with a crazy world. Can you remind me what that was exactly?
A doozy you can dance to. 9 grooving songs. 9 grooving songs about wrestling back control.
Yes, wrestling back control.
Yeah.
So this album, Shapes and Colors. I want to talk about kind of the overall idea, but then I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty of actually producing it because I want to know what's going on there. But with this album, again, there's a certain sense of the satire of it, and there's a certain sadness in there.
Mm-hmm.
What was some stuff that you were exploring with Shapes and Colors lyrically? Let's do lyrically first, and I want to jump back and talk about production.
Sure. I mean, Alex and I are both fans of like albums like "So" by Peter Gabriel, which are like pop records. They are pop records, but they're not afraid to it's not like they're super pop and ignore stuff we encounter with daily, or it's not so heavy on the stuff we encounter daily that's like different than pop. It recognizes its own seriousness, I feel like. Yeah. So the lyrics of Shapes and Colors come from different exercises of like these different characters that sort of wrest back control in their own ways. It's been like 2 or 3 years, but I can say I think my best songs are like character piece type stuff.
Okay.
And I want to see how these different people encounter loss of control, whether it's of their culture, whether it's their family or emotions or detachment, and kind of glean from them what I can take from that, right? So like the Battle of Sugar Hill, which is like the big poppy single, is about like disco sucks DJs of what are we gonna do when our industry is taken away from us by black gay subcultures.
Yeah.
Or like Jeff Leaves the Planet, which is very much about Jeff Bezos and how rich people are going to be the first people to leave the planet for something else because they can afford it. It's like these kind of absurd situations that are fun to go into, and I kind of made an accidentally dark album. I didn't think it was that dark because the music is so like Technicolor, and I try to be like very fun about it. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, this record's heavy." I'm like,
it's a heavy record.
I've come to that conclusion, and
it's really balanced from the music and the heavy topics. This is a really like lame reference, but I really love Paramore's latest album, After Laughter.
After Laughter is really great.
It's really good.
It's a really phenomenal record. What's the rule on cussing?
The what?
You can curse all you want.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just I think that album is really balanced as well, the same kind of way that yours is, where it's like really sad lyrics, like really just like all this millennial dread in there, and then all of a sudden it's this really poppy like disco-y dancey stuff, and it's really fun. It's that same thing you were talking about of kind of like an affirmation almost.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right on the money. Like that was one of the records I was listening to in the past year. I'm not joking. After Laughter and So by Peter Gabriel, and like
I know you and I both talked about They Might Be Giants. And there is a lot of They Might Be Giants going on.
I really try to stray away from mentioning them because it's on the nose. It's very on the nose for the two of us. Alex has glasses
and jumps around and plays guitar.
I've seen the look. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
You replaced the accordion with a keytar, though. You at least made that step into the future.
Yeah, it's too heavy.
No kidding.
I am a string bean, but yeah, no. I really admire records that are sort of like that, are you can bounce to it, you can dance to it, but still sort of like, okay, I'm not completely forgetting what I left to come here, but at least I can better cope with it by the time I leave here.
Yeah,
I really love that.
Something like that.
Let's talk about the production.
Sure.
So the album, again, it's pretty. Was it all built digitally? Like, how was like literally the sounds of it built?
Most songs these days by Sailor Boyfriend are me building like a Logic session, and then either writing out guitar parts or leaving space for Alex to jump in. So most of it is digital. Most of it is sort of like digital synths or having fun with like sounds that are trying to be organic but aren't.
Yeah.
Like for example, there are two solos at the end of the title track, Shapes and Colors. One of it is a sax sample, and one of it is Alex. So it's like fun interplay between a saxophone, which is real but it's sampled, and Alex, which is real but it's electric. Nice. So it's like all these kind of like fun juxtapositions.
Yeah. So you're building the songs.
I'm building the songs on a computer.
Alex is spicing in. He's adding his little.
He's adding his like. He makes
shred.
it very aggressive and in there, and also like discounts. Like be like, okay, Andy, make sure the song's there first before you think of like the zine or the cassette or blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I get that. I would also love to have Alex here, but I feel as though he won't match up to how much I love him on Twitter. So
yeah, people are disappointing.
So you just released the album and you had these Subway posters. Let's talk about these because this is something really interesting.
This is kind of cool. Yeah, take it. So one of the things that I really love about artists that I aspire to, like Laurie Anderson or Beck or people like that, or Frank Ocean, is that it's like this fun science fair project, right?
Okay.
And I really wanted to sort of have these different ideas and themes in the album really sort of explored in different ways that were maybe my voice is a little bit removed. So like, for example, we have a zine that's illustrated by Laura Marr and Kat Schneider, and includes a poem by Katixa, so that the themes of it aren't mostly coming from my mouth. It can be interpreted by anyone.
Okay.
And one of the ways that I just sort of decided to do this was this Subway ad. In New York City subways, there's a very ubiquitous ad for like a psychic. It has this giant triangle and stuff. And what I want to do is kind of have that same thing. The album's as much about, like finding affirmation, blah, blah, blah. And if you call this number, which is 512-5-SAILOR, that is, yeah, you can do it right now.
Can I call it on?
Yeah, do it right now. Because I also have to prep this. If you call that number, you'll hear like a spooky message, and then also it asks you to say, a phrase, which
say a phrase.
Which.
Okay.
Are you gonna do it live on air?
Yeah. Why not?
I was gonna say that dial a song.
You have reached your sailor boyfriend.
Can you hear it?
This call may be recorded and used for promotional purposes by Sailor Boyfriend and Make Believe Records. Your continued participation in this call serves as express consent to be recorded. You forfeit the right to any royalties and use of your voice in this call. For your personal affirmations, please say the following after the beep. I am doing my best, and that is all I can expect of myself right now. I am doing my best, and that is all I can expect of myself right now.
I'm doing my best, and that is all I can expect of myself right now.
And that's the first song on the album.
I love that.
And the song's called I Can See Them Too. So you tell me that you're confident in yourself, and then the song's about saying, there's these spooky things, but you can control what you see.
That's brilliant. I really love
so
that.
Fun.
That's such a good idea. That's fantastic. And you have a couple of the recordings.
Oh yeah.
Let's play one of those, and then we'll do a nice wrap up.
Yeah. So like So like we got.
That is all that I can expect of myself right now.
And these are just random numbers.
Yeah. I'm presuming a lot of these are. Do you know how many you've gotten so far?
Probably around like 20.
It's no small feat. That's so amazing.
Please respond. And wait, is there like?
I'm doing my best, and that is all I can do for myself right now.
Doing my best.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Andy, I could sit here and talk to you all night about music and about your own music because I really love what you're doing and I really love it. Before we wrap up, because we do have to wrap up, you want to look into that camera, give the Sailor Boyfriend pitch.
Okay. Hi, I'm Andy Waldron of rock band Sailor Boyfriend from Jersey City, New Jersey. We have a new album called Shapes and Colors that's out right now via Make Believe Records. You can buy it via cassette, zine, or digital download. You can also stream it. But if you download it or if you buy it from us, if you actually give and support money, there's a final track that streaming doesn't get. And it really completes the album narrative. So people who care about us, we care for you, and we give you the whole album. So please buy it from us, and if it's okay, use streaming services because you can share it with stuff, and please share. You can stream it, but yeah.
That was fantastic. Andy, thank you so much for
jumping in.
Thank
you,
Jesse.
This is an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, my boy.
Give it up for Andy, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. No. Well, I was thinking of this or a tramp stamp. Then.
Tramp stamp would have been a little more appropriate.
I am not. I'm afraid of that.
One More is sponsored by You Don't Know Jersey, owned and operated by Alice and Ed Maziak. You Don't Know Jersey has been bringing its readers all the best in Garden State sports, music, art, film, and culture for nearly a decade. Hey, Spencer, do you want to keep up with the latest mid-400 signings? Because YDKJ covers just about all of them. So whether you're in High Point, Cape May, or anywhere in between, visit YouDon'tKnowJersey.com. Because You Don't Know Jersey, really, I swear to God, you just fucking don't know Jersey, let me tell you. I'm sorry, I whipped that at you.
You
I
really
didn't mean
did.
to.
All
All
right.
right. They're a mid-400 recording band whose latest... I'm sorry, I thought it said recording band. They're a mid-400 records band whose latest single, Silk City Lockdown, is available everywhere. Please welcome, from Rosey, Bengal, Evan. Evan, come on up, brother.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. And thank you so much for jumping in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey.
So yeah, but again, I was saying earlier, I kind of, Brian wasn't able to make it early. Found out earlier today, so I spent a lot of today listening to your guys' music, trying to
cool.
like, get an
Crash
idea
course.
of it. I mean, yeah, crash coursing a little bit. I mean, I wasn't able to dig too deep, but I think I, was getting ideas of it. And I really like where it's going.
That.
So let's talk about, first off, your new bio. Your bio on Facebook says we're a band doing some stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
What's-
I don't know when I wrote that or if I wrote that. There's been some ex-members who still have Facebook rights and
Okay,
admin
so,
things,
yeah, that was-
they pop in.
That was like
Once in a
the
while.
agreement when they left. It said they can still post on the Facebook.
I don't know. I mean, silent agreement, I
get that.
suppose. But yeah, I think
Don't
that
look at the
that
questions.
sums it up. Oh, I was just reading the question
Don't read
that
the
you guys asked me again.
But yeah, how long have you guys been around?
I mean, in different variations of the band for like, I don't know, 6 years, maybe 5 years or so. I think 2013 was when we like kind of started playing. But it was probably a totally different group of people that I was playing with.
Yeah.
Like it was-
And your current band, do you want to give them a quick shout out? We got two of the members here.
Yeah,
want to give the rest of the
we've
guys?
got Brandon Gehrig on the keyboards, Jim Abbott on the guitar. Two other members who aren't here, Rich Slurry plays the drums, and Adam Pamela plays bass guitar. So pretty typical setup,
Yeah, and was this how long has this lineup been around?
Um,
More or less because I'm trying to find
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first album is a little, I feel like
Yeah,
there's
that-
something different than the new
it's-
single.
There's a little different. I mean, the bass player who played on the last album, Junk Mail, he plays drums in the band now.
Okay.
And now there's a different bass player who's in the band, but pretty much everyone else was.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
So let's talk about Silk City Lockdown, which I really, really dug.
Cool,
It's an
thanks.
interesting song. There's a quote here that says it was like a dystopian Phantom of the Opera. Is that a quote that we can attribute to you and something you're gonna stand by?
Yeah, I'll stick with that.
So let's
for
talk
sure.
about this song because it's doing something different than I think the first album was doing.
Mhm.
And you want to talk about that change and exploration?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first album there was way more of an Americana kind of like
Mhm.
typical rock sound going on, and that was sort of just a template for figuring out writing songs, and it wasn't something I was super passionate about that kind of music in particular. Like obviously, I guess with everybody, like everyone likes a lot of kinds of music, so I think that's kind of being reflected more on the new stuff. And just to get out of that, I feel like it's just kind of boring. Like sometimes with like folk bands or alt country
Yeah.
bands, there's
I mean, again, that first album, it was feeling. I got vibes like early National. Like those first National albums are very.
Yeah,
they're,
I
mu-
do
they're
love
it's a
those
different band than it was
albums,
than it is now. But so this new single where like you're moving forward, like Dystopian Phantom of the Opera. Where is that coming from? Is that just what you're hearing? How do you come up with something like that?
Well, I think someone said it sounded like a dystopian, like futuristic cityscape, and then I just saw Phantom of the Opera like a month ago, a few weeks ago. So I probably wrote that right after I was kind of on like a Phantom kick.
I get that. I
Nice,
mean,
yeah.
I'm always on a Phantom kick.
Yeah,
So,
so it's been playing for a long time, 1980.
Let me tell you,
1988.
Have you been to
same place.
you've been to Phantom on Broadway?
Yeah, that's what I just went to.
Let me tell you,
yeah.
it's the reason people go to Broadway.
I still have.
You have it. It's dude. It's
You should
$20
go.
tickets,
Literally,
and it's great.
I all the
It's
stuff
cool.
I've seen on Broadway is like Legally Blonde, Something Rotten. It's really
I
bad.
feel Phantom is in the legally. We're not here to talk about my opinions on Broadway. So yeah, you're talking about this idea of like this is you moving forward
Yeah.
versus the first album where it's kind of
Yeah.
a template. What is it that you're moving forward to? What are you exploring that interests you?
I mean, I think just a lot of things, honestly, like just doing different things with music, kind of treating instruments a little bit differently, almost more of a pop mentality, like less things kind of being written on an acoustic guitar, with one person singing and more just kind of like experimenting, you know, whether within like some sort of digital audio, like computer station type thing, and building it from there. I think you get a totally different product from like writing something alone with like multiple keyboards or like building a song that way, instead of like with a band, you know. I guess that.
All right, do you have like a specific way you're working on like stuff now? Because is this this is a single of a new album that's coming out?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, is that like an announcement or is it something not? Are we announcing it tonight?
Yeah, we can
Let's announce it tonight. Look at that
One
camera,
more
make an
exclusive.
announcement.
Yeah, we've got an album coming out June 20th with Mid 400 Records.
Mid 400.
Yeah, it's gonna be 11 songs.
Cool.
11
And
songs.
so you're talking about these different writing styles. What was the writing style on this album?
This is kind of all over the place,
Cool.
honestly. Like I think there's stuff that sounds like Silk City, like the single that we put out, and then some stuff that's more, throws back to kind of the older style. Because I think there was kind of a long span in between, so
yeah,
I
it was
just
like
didn't know how.
2017 is when that album came out. Did I get that right?
Yeah. It's like
Cool.
the first day was like in January. We put that out.
You
so.
put it out day 1, 2017.
Day one,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, clean slate.
Yeah, so you're like all these different styles. Is it just you're exploring, you're finding new stuff?
I guess so.
Are you the primary songwriter? How does it work?
Yeah. I pretty much bring the songs to the band, and then everybody, has free input on what goes on
and how it goes.
Yeah.
I really like that. So what's the new album gonna be called?
It's called Ghillie Suit.
Ghillie Suit.
Yeah, Ghillie Suit. Which I think, it's a cool word. It's a cool looking word. I mean, do you guys know Ghillie
Yeah,
Suit?
it's the big. You don't know what a ghillie? It's like it's one of those suits that people have where like you can like duck down and makes you look like a pile of leaves or like a bush or something.
Okay.
And then you get up and it looks like you're some kind of
yes.
tentacle monster.
I have Guile Ghillie Suit.
I think it's like
something like that.
H-I.
Something like that.
It's-
Yeah, I'm
It's not
literally.
spelled Gillly.
Yeah, I'm
that's for
pulling
sure.
it from like playing Modern Warfare
Yeah,
too, and like
it's-
hiding. That's
yeah.
what a ghillie suit
Yeah.
is. Okay, and like it feels like there's a little bit of like you're talking about like this idea of like exploring sounds. Like I like the idea you named it just because you thought it sounded cool.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. Also, I guess it's sort of a metaphor with how you're kind of hidden in a ghillie suit, or like you don't have an identity so much. So I think the album kind of there's like all these different songs. Like
Is it
and
like an
everything was
element of
sorta
surprise
okay.
to it as well?
I guess
or-
so. I didn't really think
Yeah.
about that. I don't think
Yeah.
about surprising people
Okay.
very much. To be honest.
I like that. I mean, it's funny because we were just talking with Andy about this idea of like trying to bring the audience there or trying to make it something present. But I feel like this is the kind of thing where like you kind of want to keep everything moving and keep everything fluid. What about that appeals to you? This idea of like you're just crafting songs and here they are, and like the overarching is just how it is.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a end goal, like kind of I don't know, a certain sound that I think we want the band to be like. I think it's just sort of whatever songs are working and with the band, or working for me, will kind of make it sound like us in the long run.
I really like that. So how's Min 400 treating you?
Very good. Yeah.
You like those?
Cool,
You like
it's
those
cool
boys?
working with
What about them? When did you sign to Mint 400?
I mean, we put out the last album, Junk Mail, on Mint 400,
Okay, so you've been working with them.
and Sniffling Indie Kids, so it was kind of a split thing. But I think at that point, I wasn't in as much communication with them, so I think for this one, I'm really kind of teaming up with Neil, and he's helping out.
Cool. What about working with a label? How does that appeal to you? Where's that coming from? Because I'm in one band that is signed and another band that's unsigned, and like seeing the balance between those.
Yeah.
I'd love to get your take on that.
I mean, I don't know. There doesn't really feel to be any restrictions with working with Mint 400. I mean, Neil is pretty much there to help everybody, and I guess it's sort of like what you put into it. You can kind of get out of it, like how much of a team player I guess you want to be.
Absolutely.
So it's good having that community there.
Nice.
We probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Neil.
Yeah, it wasn't. Honestly, you probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Neil texting Brian and Brian
So
sending you guys my way
A practical
and being like, "Hey, listen, to this."
result
And here we are. So,
yeah.
Neil, you're doing something right.
Thanks. Thanks, Neil.
Was it Min 400? The extensions just
Yeah,
got signed to them.
just
so,
got
yeah.
signed, yeah.
So yeah, this is feeling a little bit. This might be a little fishy to some people. So that was weird. What are you what are you listening to? Because you're talking about all these different styles. Was there anything you were listening to that inspired the
Influenced?
album, or is it
Yeah.
just where it's coming from is where it's coming from?
I mean, it's probably going to be where it's coming from is where it's coming from. I don't really think there's much of like going for a certain sound. I mean, and I like a lot of artists that do that. Like I mean, one of my favorite like contemporary rock musicians, like Cass McCombs, I think he's kind of evolved and like done different things. It sounds different at different points in his career. So I listen to him.
Is that something that you think you're never gonna like find, for lack of a better term, your sound? Like, is something about that always searching? What about that appeals to you?
I mean, I think just having the music sort of be a reflection of like what I'm doing at the time and what songs I feel like writing then is sort of a exact reflection of like myself, like having whatever type of experiences happen to me in different like phases of my life, instead of it being kind of this like project that a bunch of heads are in on, like figuring out what like product or like brand we're gonna put out. I guess
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
this kind of thing is like having the freedom to do whatever you want, so that
inspired by listening to one kind of music, and it's like, oh, I kind of want to like fool around with this sound or like this style thing, and then you hear something else and I'm like, this sounds great too. So it's difficult to kind of stay in on one particular thing.
Yeah, I feel that absolutely. I mean, it's funny because like one of my main bands is 4-piece rock band, and it's 2 guitars, bass, and drums and vocals, and like finding both how to work within the constraints of that and also how finding the right times to break away from that is something we're always exploring. And I just love this idea of like, you're just gonna do what you're gonna do, and it's gonna sound how it's gonna sound. There's no rules for that. There's no we have to keep it to 2 guitars or anything like that.
I mean, sometimes it's great like that.
Yeah,
too,
you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah,
but
I think there's different outlooks for everything, and some bands do just hone in on one thing and like perfect it, and that's cool too.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. All right, so we're gonna hear a couple of songs from you guys. Do you want to do the elevator pitch into that camera, and then we'll get you guys all set up?
Sure. My band, Rosey, Bengal, we're putting out an album, Ghillie Suit, June 20th. It's going to be at FM. Come Here Floyd is co-sponsoring the show, so come out. It's going to be good. A bunch of other people playing, Francie Moon, Fagawi Hunting Club, a bunch of others. So, yeah, it's going to be a good time.
And where can we find you guys online?
We're on Spotify, got stuff there, Facebook, Bandcamp.
All Rosey Bengal?
Yeah, all Rosey Bengal there.
All right, thanks so much, Evan. Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks
We're gonna yell some ads, and we're gonna get you guys set up while we do that. We're gonna hear some songs.
All right, thanks.
Jesse,
Alrighty. Should I
grab this one.
All right.
I'm gonna move stuff.
Cool. It is. It always is. Keep the struggle. One More with Brian Erickson is brought to you by the Asbury Park Music Foundation. APMF raises money to support youth music programs throughout Asbury Park that provide lasting skills, self-confidence, and life-changing experiences for underserved kids in our community. This includes funding for the Hip Hop Institute at the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth, in-school music programs at Hope Academy, and scholarships for kids to attend Lake House Music Academy. APMF also hosts concert series throughout the year, whether it's Music Mondays at Springwood Park, or Asbury Park Live over the summer, Suburbia Friday nights, or the Sunday Songwriter Series. APMF always has something going on. Check out their calendar for more details. And if you're interested in making a meaningful difference in the community or keeping Asbury Park's legacy of music alive, head to asburyparkmusiclives.org to make a donation. And while you're there, pick up a Music Saved Asbury Park t-shirt. All proceeds make it possible to support the Music Saved My Life youth music programs. One More is also brought to you by Bordentown Guitar Rescue. Founded by certified luthier Mike Vierock, Bordentown Guitar Rescue has been building, modifying, customizing, and repairing stringed instruments since 2012.
Hi, Vierock.
Hi, Vierock. Why wait a month for a basic setup from one of the big retailers when Bordentown Guitar Rescue has the biggest turnaround time in the state? Quickest, whatever, I can't read. So whether your body needs a good, whether your body needs a good nut and saddle treatment or your sound hole is warped, I hate you, Brian. Let's call a certified luthier Mike Vierock for an estimate. Bordentown Guitar Rescue. Fix it, Vierock.
Oh, that was a shit show. All right, I'm going to do events, and then I'll introduce you guys, and you guys are going to play, because I want to interrupt you with me yelling events. All right, events for the week of April 22nd. The National are playing the Beacon right now, so if you're a sad dad, you're at the Beacon right now watching the National. Tuesday, April 23rd, happy birthday, Kathy Quintana, Madison Van Houten, and Brian's Aunt Carol. Love you, Aunt Carol. Jackie June is at Cafe Artiste at 7 p.m., Corey and Kara at John and Peters at 9 p.m. Wednesday, April 24th, happy birthday, Kevin from the Extensions. It's a birthday week, folks. Danny Coleman is celebrating 10 years of being a public figure, featuring Radio Fiction, Rick Barth, The Williams Boys, Strawberry Pie, Joe Weimer, and writer of such hits as God Only Knows What I'd Be Without Mogo, Korean Fusion Tacos, Dave Vargo at the Asbury Hotel at 8 p.m., Matt DeBrow and the Captives going down the channel, down in the sub at Rockwood Music Hall at 9 p.m., Alpha Rabbit, World's Greatest Detective, Megan Al, Chris Tull at Mill Hill Basement at 9 p.m. Thursday, April 25th, happy birthday to our former camera op, Liam. Hey, Liam. Dizzy Bats, Bobby Mahoney, Switch Mob, House Call, Boone Tunes at 6:30 p.m. Corey Hiltman and Jackie June at The Sane as part of the AP Music Film and Found. Oh God, I messed it up big time. The Sane, it's the music and film festival. They're doing a show there. Alpha Rabbit, Megan Al, Corey and Kara at Union Firehouse at 8 p.m. Pickle Thursdays with Matthew Brow and Patty C. Friday, April 26th, happy birthday to the coolest woman in New Brunswick, Caroline Romanelli. World Inferno Friendship Society is at Icarus Brewery. Puppy Grease is also playing that show. I love World Inferno. Go see that. Brian Molnar, AJ Croy, Espresso Joe's at 7 p.m. Foxfires at Boone Tune 7 p.m. The Vaughns at Goldstown in Brooklyn at 7 p.m. Mid 400 presents Free Indie Rock Night featuring Kate Dressed Up, The Extensions, Quality Living, and Ruby Bones at Sasha's in Fairlawn at 7:30 p.m. The Angry Pirates record release show at Clash Bar at 8 p.m. Levy in the Oaks, Jeff Doubleday at the Asbury Hotel at 9 p.m. Daily Rituals and Joshua Mark at the Pickle. Saturday, April 27th, happy birthday to Billiam McCabium on the Drumiums and Lisa Pope, who is not just Justin Pope's wife, but an extremely talented singer and songwriter in her own right. Matt Telliho at Haley's Harp and Pub at 1 p.m. Matt Seltzer, is that right, at Lambertville House at 2 p.m. The Extensions, Take Today, Stroop, Love Jones, The Archangels at Union Firehouse 7 p.m. Cook Douglas, Kitty, Overwinter, and Callie Alley, DJ Static at the Barbary at 7 p.m. Know Your Enemy album release show at Roxy and Duke's, Waiting on Mongo at the Wonder Bar. The Hell Yeah Babies at the Shill Tavern 8 p.m. Jammin' for Jocelyn, Jocelyn featuring a whole bunch of really great acts for a great cause. That's also happening on Saturday. Look that up. Jammin' for Jocelyn. I love you, Squillis. Sunday, April 28th, Yes Queen, celebration of music of Queen with Remember Jones at the Calvin Basie Theater at 7 p.m. Close out your weekend with Justin Pope opening an open stage at Triumph and New Hope at 7:30 p.m. Go wish his wife Lisa happy birthday. Also Flexiglass and Alex Gagliastro at the Saint for the APM FF after party.
Also,
and now
I have a gig on Tuesday.
What's your gig on Tuesday? Where?
It's at the Downtown in Red Bank with Pat Conley and Ryan Clark.
All right, we're not here to talk about Pat Conley. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Rosey Bengal. Told you guys.
Just another contender in a Silk City lockdown. You're not gonna let anybody boss you around. Drag your way up the alley like a newspaper right on the north side. Staring off into heaven, sailing out on the main line. Go to the house with the windows blacked out. Baby, just wait in the car. So you go inside, turn a trick for a dime, shoot it in the back of the bar. Halfway back from a bender, gearing up for a freak out again. Floating all through the city on a black thundercloud. And just like Sadie and Maisie, digging junk in a deep, dark old mine. Always putting up fences where you got nothing left for you to climb. Go to the house with the windows blacked out. Since baby, just wait in the car. You go inside, turn a trick for a dime, shoot it in the back of the bar. You know in my heart that I truly adore her when she's picking stars off of drink myself into a swing state, dress me up and drag me down, and wrap me around your finger, spin my heart around, swear on every four-leaf clover, I don't think about it now. I used to walk on water, but I'm drowning in it now. And baby, you're a little bit late to win yourself a triple crown, 'cause every dealer picks a winner, and every winner stands their ground. Stole your lucky quarters, oh, and I put them in my mouth. But who the hell are you to tell me nothing means nothing when it's everything? Shoot myself up into blank space, and I ain't never coming down. Just tap me on the shoulder when it's time to turn around. Swear on every four-leaf clover, I don't think about it now. Used to walk on water, but I'm drowning in it now. Baby, you're a little bit late to win yourself a triple crown, 'cause every dealer picks a winner, and every winner stands their ground.
Thank you. With evil.
Think I might be going overboard. There's only one way to tell for sure. Sign your name on the dotted line, leave your sword and soul behind, with the devil at the reins, pulling me down on his golden chain. Burning bright on a pitch black night, break the rules which I abide by, 'cause nobody likes a guy says goodnight and goes home high. Nothing feels as good as falling wayside by the night. I was impatient, you were so unkind. Everybody needs a place where they can hide, far away from the evil side. I was wasted, looking for a fight, still looking for a fight. Lightning stashed in unmarked cars, hollowed beat between the bars. Cross my heart and I hope to die. Give me wings and let me fly straight down the boulevards, hanging a prayer on a lucky star. And I'll wager what I've won, hang my hat on the sun. Nothing feels as good as falling wayside by the night. I was impatient, you so unkind. Everybody needs a place where they can hide far away from the evil side. I was wasted looking for a fight, still looking for a fight.
Last one. I'm riding out the cold part of a come down in a city I've still never really been. Just a 4-mile ride across Chicago. Took the Cubs 100 years to win again. Have you ever stayed awake so long you couldn't keep from crying? Have you ever felt so hard you landed right back into place? Anything you wanna tell me, you can tell me anything, but you're only spitting water in a lake. Climbing on the hands of a clock, just trying to get up to the top. I'm watching how the minutes walk in midnight doses. Midnight doses. I'm biting off the cold part of a compound, lying restless in a room I've never been. Just a 4-mile ride until Ohio, to think about the past and try to win. I don't believe in contradictions unless I've changed my mind. So I'll tally up my losses in midnight doses. Midnight doses. In midnight doses. Yes. Midnight doses. Thanks. That's all.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Let me
you.
grab this microphone real quick. I'm tall, but I'm not that tall. All right, Rosey Bengal, Andy from Salem Boyfriend, for Jesse McCormick, Mogo, the Asbury Park Music Foundation. That's the camera I should be looking at. I'm Christy Brow, and to misquote Jimmy Buffett, keep living and dying in 3/4 time, folks. You guys can stay on for the end, but I love it. Anyway, have a good night. Yeah, we'll do the SNL play out. Can we just fade out? I'm number one.